the excitement. I think really what it all boils down to is the anticipation for anything, and once that gets killed off, what do you really have left? The memories of actually being anticipated for the event you were building up to, Halloween and Christmas. Great. Tim Burton's movie, The Nightmare Before Christmas, combining the two, really is a pure illustration of anticipation and how much hype is actually put behind things like Halloween and Christmas. And I think Nightmare Before Christmas, actually directed by Tim Burton, who just recently had a movie called Nine, very successful, is a perfect illustration of how much anticipation really goes into stuff and how much you can really be let down over something. Unfortunate, hearing the comments from different people who took part in this year's Halloween. And when I first read the news item on the internet and saw it on different news programs, man, oh man, that was awesome. I'm putting it out to you. Were you actually in one of the states that had Halloween canceled? If you were and you have a story to contribute, drop us a comment here on our YouTube channel at youtube.com, JonathanClarke22. I'm sure your opinions are going to be read by a lot of people because I know in different parts of the world Halloween was actually gone through with. Despite the unfortunate weather, I know in different parts of the world too, the weather actually held up for a while there and they were actually put off Halloween without a hitch. But I think that the majority of the world spent Halloween indoors watching horror flicks to make up for the disappointment that Halloween left us with. And then again, there are the occasional child who actually went home with 3 or 4 garbage bags full of Halloween treats. And then, the people, in my opinion, that really benefit from Halloween are the dentists, because you end up with a massive dental bill from all the cavities you get from different things that you collect and acquire from Halloween. In my opinion, I think the dentists benefit the most from Halloween, and the candy companies. Halloween's been described by a lot of things. Halloween has been described as a promotional juggernaut for the candy companies, and I think the candy companies and the dentists are the ones who really benefit off that. It's awesome. It's great. And the water companies, definitely benefit from the dentists as well. The water companies, that's why the dentist always tells you to drink water, because you'll go back to them with more and more cavities than you went to them with previously. There are a lot of things behind a lot of things that happen, but I really think that the ones that benefit from Halloween are definitely the candy companies and Pillsbury, because Pillsbury always has some type of cookie dough released for every type of occasion, Halloween, Christmas. Pillsbury, the candy companies, and the dentists are the one that benefit off Halloween, and that's great. How many of you actually watched the Twilight Saga too for Halloween? How many of you watched the 3 installments of Twilight, anticipating the 4th part of the Twilight series, the longest and lengthiest one of the Twilight series, Breaking Dawn, going to be released on November 18th of this year, the final installment of that. Not writing any more books for that thing, though. I think a lot of people are going to be very depressed seeing that movie, and they're probably never going to want that thing to end. How many out there watched the Twilight series in anticipation for Halloween this year? I'm sure a lot of you did. Although a lot of people, I find, prefer the books over the movies, and that's like anything. I think a lot of people prefer the Notebook novel over the Notebook movie, which was a very successful film released by Nicholas Sparks. Other successful films and books released by Nicholas Sparks, of course, were The Last Song, that was a great one, and Dear John. I've seen all of them. But like I said, books are usually better and preferred more often than movies, and I'm sure a lot of people prefer the Twilight books over the Twilight movies, because a book definitely includes a lot more detail than a movie. Halloween, yeah. It really let me down, really got me depressed. I even saw the Flintstones. I'll tell you how many Halloween specials I saw. I even saw the Flintstones Halloween special, the Flintstones Meet Rockula and Frankenstein, a special that was produced in color for the first time in 1978. I think that was written on the copyright of the special that was aired. It was a 1-hour program of the Flintstones actually heading to Rocksylvania, their version of Transylvania, and actually meeting and awakening Rockula and Frankenstein, who had been asleep for over 500 years, after Fred wins a prize on Make a Deal or Don't, which actually, the show actually starred Casey Kasem as the host of Make a Deal or Don't. Casey Kasem was making Scooby-Doo cartoons before I could even talk. But he was featured in that. I saw that, and I even saw Alvin and the Chipmunks Meet the Wolfman, which was a spin-off of the original one, Alvin and the Chipmunks Meet Frankenstein. Both films were great. But the Flintstones one, that really sent me into a time of reflection when I used to watch Halloween specials in anticipation of the actual Halloween day from maybe 13, 14 years ago. And the occasional Kristen Ritchie movie like Casper or The Addams Family, that was always on every year, and I found myself seeing that all the time. Her new movies that Christina Ritchie are in, like Afterlife, which is one I just recently saw, a movie that was made back in 2009. I highly recommend any Christina Ritchie film because it really sets the mood for things like Halloween. I love old school stuff. I'll admit to you, I'm a retro type of guy who will sit down and watch movies more often from 1994 than the present time of 2011. I anticipate watching movies from 1994 than more so than watching movies that are produced in the present time of 2011. I would definitely prefer the original Fright Night over the remake that recently was released in theaters this past August. And that's like anything. The original Nightmare on Elm Streets, the original Halloweens, definitely prefer those more so than the remakes that are usually made. And that's usually what Hollywood are doing now, making remakes of every horror film. They made a remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Friday the 13th. The list goes on of remakes. And we're going to see more of those made, with Fright Night being one of the more recent remakes of a 1980s thriller that left a lot of people terrified. And who can forget The Exorcist, released for the first time back in the 80s. That movie is probably the most terrifying one to watch alone. And I know a lot of people are still scared to death at the age of 30 to watch that one. But yeah, Halloween being canceled. As I said, if you live in one of the states that actually had Halloween canceled, I'm going to be throwing this video up on YouTube at youtube.com, JonathanClarke22, for comments and opinions. And you can share your Halloween stories by joining the conversation at facebook.com, JonathanClarke, and you can follow me on Twitter at JonathanClarke1, HEW Entertainment. I'm going to be looking forward to hearing your Halloween stories, especially if you live in one of the states that had Halloween canceled. Very interesting news item that I saw featured on a lot of television news programs and on the internet. I'm sure that a lot of news websites have the articles actually in their archives, so make sure you check those out. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at JonathanClarke1, HEW Entertainment. We're following over 556 people for you at the present time, with our Facebook page now up to almost 750 people. Can you believe it? Fans and Twitter followers like crazy. I mean, it's almost like having a Halloween basket full of treats and a massive dental bill afterwards. But yeah, Halloween being canceled, absolute fucking shit in my opinion. Hopefully next year the same thing won't happen. Hopefully we will be prepared for the circumstance, really taken off guard over the fact that Halloween was canceled. Absolute fucking shit, really, because I know a lot of people really anticipated it. And you can tell us your Halloween experiences. A lot of people probably spent Halloween going from house to house by automobile this year. But definitely let us know what your opinion is of Halloween being canceled, especially if you lived in one of the states that Halloween was canceled in. We have some Halloween-themed music we're going to be sticking on for you here over the next little while. So we're going to start it off here with I Put a Spell on You. The movie that featured this was actually Hocus Pocus. I remember that. The movie that actually featured this was great. I loved it. And the Monster Mash that actually started the show off is a popular song that spawned a lot of Halloween parties. I know that. So I Put a Spell on You, performed by Beth Midler, one of the lead actors, one of the three witches actually, from Hocus Pocus. Here it is. I think you'll enjoy this one. I'll be back after we spin some commercials to wrap the show up and our very controversial look at Halloween being canceled. Absolute fucking shit in my opinion. Here it is, the remake of I Put a Spell on You. This was originally released back in the 70s or 80s. I'm not sure which decade this is from, but I know it's a remake that was made for the first time in 1993, and it's performed by Beth Midler. I believe she was the lead witch of the three, and one of the witches was actually played by Sarah Jessica Parker, known for her more recent roles in Sex and the City movies 1 and 2. Take a listen to this.
I put a spell on you, and now you're gone. My honey fell on you, and it was strong. Your wretched little lives have all been cursed 'cause of all the witches working, and the worst I've
WWE 24/7 on demand. With exclusive programming taken from the world's largest wrestling library. Play rare and never-before-seen matches. Rewind through history and experience the roots of wrestling. Relive legendary matchups from the past and present. Be the ultimate WWE fan as you play, rewind, relive all the classic moments with WWE 24/7 on demand. WWE Home Video gets you inside the ring and takes you beyond the ropes. Experience exclusive extras, thrilling action and excitement with all your favorite WWE superstars. Right here on WWE